Man charged with stealing Wizard of Oz slippers from Minnesota. Minneapolis, AP. A man charged with the museum heist of a pair of ruby slippers worn by Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz was expected to change his plea to guilty in court Friday, pulling back the curtain on a whodunit mystery dating back 18 years. Jon Martin, 76, was indicted in May on one count of theft of a major artwork. The shoes from the film were stolen in 2005 from the Judy Garland Museum in the actress' hometown of Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and recovered in 2018 by the FBI. No one was arrested in the case until Martin, who lives near Grand Rapids, was charged earlier this year. Martin's attorney, Dane DeKrey, said his client, who is in poor health, has been cooperative with authorities. I think Terry is facing his own mortality, and I think when people are reaching that point in their life, they cut through the pleasantries and talk turkey, DeKrey said in an interview ahead of Friday's scheduled hearing. The one-page indictment gave no details of the path that led investigators to Martin, who has a 1988 conviction for receiving stolen goods on his record and is free on his own recognizance. Much of the government's evidence has been covered by a protective order prohibiting its public disclosure. Garland wore several pairs of ruby slippers during filming of the classic 1939 musical, but only 4 authentic pairs are known to remain. The slippers were insured for $1 million, but federal prosecutors put the current market value at about $3.5 million when they announced the indictment. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than file. A pair of ruby slippers once worn by actress Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz sit on display at a news conference on September 4, 2018, at the FBI office in Brooklyn Center, Minn. A man charged with the long-ago museum heist of the pair of ruby slippers was expected to change his plea to guilty at a court hearing Friday, October 13, 2023, shedding light on a whodunit mystery dating back 18 years. AP photo. Jeff Bainan. File. The FBI said a man approached the insurer in 2017 and said he could help get them back. The slippers were recovered in an FBI art crime team sting operation in Minneapolis. They remained in the Bureau's custody. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than the plea agreement was fulsomely negotiated between DeKrey and federal prosecutor Matt Greenlee and would lay out the factual basis for his client's guilty plea, DeKrey said. DeKrey expects U.S. District Judge Patrick Schultz, the chief federal judge for Minnesota, to set a sentencing date around 3 months out. He declined to say what the two sides are recommending for a sentence, but noted the non-binding federal sentencing guidelines have recommended 10 to 12 years in similar cases. DeKrey said he was grateful Schultz agreed to hold the hearing in Duluth instead of making Martin travel to the Twin Cities. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than, my client is a sick man. He's going to be on oxygen and he's going to be in a wheelchair, DeKrey said. The slippers in question were on loan to the museum from Hollywood memorabilia collector Michael Shaw when someone climbed through a window and broke the display case. 3 other pairs that Garland wore in the movie are held by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, the Smithsonian Museum of American History, and a private collector. Several rewards were offered over the years in hopes of cracking the mystery. An anonymous donor from Arizona put up $1 million in 2015. The ruby slippers were key props in the 1939 movie. Following a mysterious landing in the colorful land of Oz after a tornado hits her farm in Kansas, Garland's character, Dorothy, has to click the heels of her slippers 3 times and repeat, "There's no place like home," to return. The slippers are made from about a dozen different materials, including wood pulp, silk, thread, gelatin, plastic and glass. Most of the ruby color comes from sequins, but the bows of the shoes contain red glass beads. Garland was born Frances Gumm in 1922. She lived in Grand Rapids, about 200 miles, 320 kilometers, north of Minneapolis, until she was 4, when her family moved to Los Angeles. She died of a barbiturate overdose in 1969. The Judy Garland Museum, which opened in 1975 in the house where she lived, says it has the world's largest collection of Garland and Wizard of Oz memorabilia.